This is Pinsy Rivera, and she's kind of a big deal. She is the brand new president of the Builders Association for the island of Puerto Rico. And I did a little research on you. So you're a second generation developer.
Third
generation.
My father is second. Yes.
Your father was a second generation developer. And always on the island of Puerto Rico?
Always. We only invest here in Puerto Rico.
I love that. I love that. And can you tell us a little bit about your background and what you invest in, the types of projects that you like to tackle?
Okay, I am third generation, and the fourth generation is coming soon. My son and my brother's son started working for us, my nephew 5 years ago and my son a year ago. So I am a mother of three boys, and I always tell them that they have to come back to the island. They have to come back and
Did they go to college in the States?
They went to college in the States, and one is back here in Puerto Rico. He's an industrial engineer.
Okay.
The second one is in his second career. He's studying chiropractor in Atlanta, and he loves it. And I hope he comes back and open, his practice here.
Yeah.
And the young one, he's working for a real estate company in Tampa.
Oh.
It's called MMG.
Okay.
They do buy a lot of big chunks of projects, like a big.
So he has the real estate bug, regardless.
Yes.
And now it's a mom mandate that he must come back and invest on the island.
Subtle, but it's
not
there.
so subtle. We were going to put it out there on the internet. Everyone's going to hear it now. Somebody share it with her son.
They are aware. So.
And so what type of projects do you typically invest in?
We mainly have it's in commercial real estate. We do have office buildings in Puerto Rico that we own, we developed, we own, we finance, and we operate. And that's our core. And from there, we always invest in our lands. So we have a land bank, which is pretty nice, and we have to keep building on it.
Yeah.
So then we've done residential housing, a few projects, and then we've done it's beautiful, the affordable housing projects. Those are the most beautiful when you sell a home for the first time in generations that no one ever had a title of a home, and you give that. It's amazing reward. That's the most amazing thing. So I told back there in the panel, sometimes it takes you 9 years to get permits.
9 years.
9 years to get everything. Yes. Because when you start, maybe you have. Your connection points of Praza, it's, elsewhere. And probably that will kill your project. Or the connection for Luma, that can as well kill your project. So it's a patience, love and patience, and lots of money. That's why I told, time is of the essence, time is money. So if we can shorten
if you can compress that time,
the time for the permitting would be a big help. A big help that will rely on the customers.
Yeah.
So you can check your prices.
And so even if you can compress the time, you still have a 30 to 35% basically cost to the government on the island to develop whatever it is. This is something that gets passed on to the consumer, to the customer, which makes investing in what's most needed, this affordable housing or first-time home buyer homes. I don't want to say low income because I don't think that it's necessarily that, but it just means that it's harder for developers like you to go ground up on that stuff because you have not only 6 years of permitting, but then also 35% cost, hard costs eventually. We call them soft costs, but they're not, there's nothing soft about them.
No.
So, you have helped to spearhead a couple of different laws that are actually out there that I learned about today. Law 100
wonderful.
and Law 101.
And one, yes.
Can we talk
both
about
of,
that
yes,
a little bit?
Both of them have to do with developers.
Okay.
So in the previous years, we usually had a top in price selling for low-income housing. So, and for more than 6 years, we couldn't, I am certainly, there is no project going on about low-income housing in selling houses, not in
Right.
not in the rent, in the rent
You
part.
can build the rent market, but
The rent market has another structure.
yeah.
So but for the selling price. So with this law, what we tackled is we said, everything under FHA, because if you have FHA, you will have a good mortgage,
Yes.
rent. So you will have, subsidies and
Right.
and stuff. So everything under FHA will be low income and middle income housing.
Right.
But as we were talking earlier, your market will tell you, because you cannot sell a low-income house. For example, in Vega Baja, the top of FHA is, I think it's 547, something like that. So, I mean,
So that's not for a low-income person.
Exactly.
If you're making minimum wage, you're not buying a $500,000
So
house.
you have to stick to, you have to sell to your, which it would be great if I could build a house for $250,000.
Yeah.
That's
How
not even
long
possible.
ago did that stop happening?
I think it was, I think the last project that was built was when it was selling for $140,000.
And so we're talking a decade ago.
We're talking 6, 7 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So for 6 or 7 years, no projects have started on the island of Puerto Rico because you can just no longer, especially since COVID, costs just went.
Everything.
Whoop.
Yep, everything.
And I think.
And after Maria, the excess taxes, the municipalities have been,
Crazy.
crazy. That's what I said.
And permitting too has gotten harder, right? Like, wasn't it easier 20 years ago?
That permitting ever has
It's
been
never been
easier.
easy.
No, I don't think so. But with time, there's been more regulations and more regulations and more. So yeah. It's overregulated.
Right. So the idea is that now you identify everything FHA or below, and that doesn't mean that everything you build you're going to sell at the top of the FHA.
Exactly. No.
You're going to sell at what the neighborhood can afford.
Can afford, exactly.
But it allows you to not say, and I heard this number up there, that it was $175,000 for years and years. That was the kind of top number for affordable housing, and nobody could build it. Wow.
No.
Wow.
And then the other law helps the developer in the sense that through everything over FHA, you can check with your in your contracts. You know that our contracts are regulatory by DACO.
Yeah.
So we have to do that license and all that. And this helps you to change some clauses that you can actually negotiate with the customer. And you can use as well, it helps for development of high rises.
Okay.
That before you could not use those down deposits for your account.
Pre-sell. You couldn't pre-sell and then apply the money to the
Exactly.
development.
That money had to stay in a escrow account.
Right.
And this law lets you use it for your finance. So
That must be such a relief on the capital stack, because honestly, guys, one of the difficult things on the island of Puerto Rico is liquidity. Being able to borrow money from the bank is difficult.
Exactly.
It just is. So to be able to use that money, it gives you
it helps.
one more piece of the pie that allows you to go and make these developments. That's awesome. So
yeah, we did that through the Puerto Rico Builders Association.
yeah,
With
you guys
extensive
championed
work
that, right?
and that law. No, Agustin was the champion.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
But then it just got passed through, but it's still not in full effect, or it's not being used?
No. They're still waiting for the rules and regulation of both of the laws so they can get implemented. Last Friday, I sent the former Secretary of Housing our comments. So
Okay,
she's
so we're getting close.
She's no longer there.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
So now
she
we have to send it
resigned.
to someone else.
So yeah, we hope we have a meeting on Thursday that hasn't been canceled. So we hope we can, that things will get moving. So.
And I mean, we hope that it moves fast, guys. This is a big need on the island of Puerto Rico. There's 250,000, by some estimations, of a housing shortage across all levels. But a lot of it, maybe most of it, is this affordable housing.
Of course.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's across all markets. All markets. Like, for example, if
it's
you
all
are a
markets.
newlywed and you want to buy a house, you have to go to and you work in San Juan, you probably have to go to Fajardo to look for your house in Fajardo. And then,
or into the mountains or somewhere.
Yeah.
But even that, you're not finding new construction, right?
No, not much.
You're buying
Not much.
existing stock, maybe from someone like me who buys something that's distressed and fixes it up and then puts it back on the market.
There are a few developments right now. Unfortunately, not all developers are part of our association. I would like them to come.
Come on, you
for
guys.
us.
If you're not a part, join the Builders Association on the
Yes,
island.
we work for you.
Yeah.
So, but there are a few developers who are building. There are a few in Barceloneta, and there are a few in Bravo as well. So there's a few.
We've seen some ground-up development in Rincon, and they sell out very fast too.
Yeah.
So and they're not affordable. They're a 2-bedroom, 2-bath house might be $500,000, so it's not affordable. But they sell out right away because there aren't a lot of other new construction.
Exactly.
I think the number is only 800 houses were built last year.
I think it's less.
Less?
I think it's 600.
Oh,
Actually,
my.
those numbers are from the OSIF for the commissioner.
Okay.
And those numbers only they only have financed homes. So
they're not
the
looking at
cash homes, those are not there.
But can they tell when the year built is? Like, is that part of the data set that they, even though they're cash, would
Yeah,
you be
they
able to know
say
that
new
it's a
homes,
new build?
new homes or refinance.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like 600 for new homes.
And it used to be like 14 or 15,000.
Oh my
not
goodness!
that long ago.
It was 1,500,
Yeah.
15,000.
15,000.
15,000.
Like
And you
15
would
years
sell
ago.
it like, the market was not, an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then when the bubble,
Were
first-
you a developer at that
yes,
point?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
so you had to go through that.
we were very lucky.
Yeah.
I finished selling one residential project 2006,
Oh,
but I got scared,
yeah.
very scared.
I wasn't as lucky. I got eaten up by it, but we've made a good comeback, so I'm happy now.
You see, there's always opportunity.
I mean, had God not made me go broke in 2006 or 7, I certainly wouldn't be sitting here today. But it happened for me earlier than it did the rest of the world. So by 2008, I'm back when everybody else is going broke, and then we did really, really well. And then we came to the island of Puerto Rico after Maria, and we did really well again. So we really have been blessed for sure. So I love what you said earlier. One of the most favorite parts of being a real estate investor for me has always been handing the keys off to someone who's going to call it a home. Whether it's a first-time home buyer or not, the vast majority of what I've done has been affordable housing. I've done a few thousand of them, and so that's like, it's nice to make money, but it's really, really nice to give those keys to someone and see them light up and just feel really good. So that's one of the reasons you want to become a real estate investor, guys. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I definitely believe that the same thing that pushed the tourism industry because of the tax credits,
Yes.
will really help the housing affordable market. That's for me, it's the only, because costs are not coming down. And as I told you, 1 cubic yard for an affordable house, it's the same cost for a $8 million house. So the cost is the same.
Right.
Iron is the same,
The iron's the same, the concrete's the same,
Yeah.
the roofing materials cost the same per square footage.
So definitely, we need to
So is that
do
something that you see as a possibility happening? So when I came to the island of Puerto Rico and we found out about 40% tax credits in hospitality, well, I invested in hospitality.
Exactly.
Why would I not? They're going to give me
Exactly.
half of my money back, right? It was a great thing and it was wonderful. If I had come to the island and they said, hey, Robbie, invest in affordable housing and we'll give you a 40% tax credit back, that's all I would have done. Mm-hmm. That's what I prefer to do. So do you think that's a possibility that they will start to have incentives for that?
I know in the States you have tax incentives for rent market. Mm-hmm. So in here we do for low income light tech funds.
Yep.
So we don't have that for rent market.
Yep.
And that should be something that should be, in the table.
There was something called Act 182 that was around last year, which was to build
for
long-term housing.
We are still rooting for that.
I'm rooting for that too.
Yes.
I thought it was
because
done and then it...
For if building something, it's expensive. Rebuilding it, it's, I don't know if it's twice the cost, but it's a very costly. Mm-hmm. And then those structures have to come back to our new building codes.
Yep.
So it's a lot that you have to invest in those
It's easier, in other words, to build ground up on a vacant piece of land than to go into a city town center and knock something down and then build back up, because you have to worry about everybody around you.
Exactly.
And you have that extra expense. It gets very hard. So this Act 182 was going to incentivize with tax credits very similar to the tourism stuff.
At least it would be something,
It would be a big deal, I think. How do we help to push that forward?
We have to go to the legislature.
Yeah.
What I do every other day.
What you do every other day. So what happened?
I have to go to the Capitolio.
Wasn't that something that had gotten to the desk of the last governor?
Yeah, but it didn't get signed. And actually, and to be fair, every law has to be backed by the FHA, by the Oversight Board.
Right.
So
and they said no?
I understand that's where it stopped. The Oversight Board.
So if we could get rid of that damn Oversight Board.
They are neighbors.
Are they here?
No, they cannot hear us.
No, are they here though?
Yes, they are.
Oh, my
yeah, he's
goodness.
just in the presentation right now.
They're the last guys.
Sí.
I think their time hopefully
I don't know
is coming to an
why
end.
they started this summit with the Development Bank, which is great, Sebastian, and ends with Robert Mojica. But it should have
been the opposite.
The opposite.
Yeah. Well, that would be a big deal. So eventually they're going to go away, and then hopefully it'll make things a little bit easier. That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would certainly be nice. Well, listen, I think it was a very pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for sitting down. I know you had to ask your people, maybe they Googled us and made sure it was okay. If there's anything that you don't want in the video, we'll cut it out. You just tell us. But
oh, it's okay.
we had a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much, and nice to meet you.